Lost Letterman, yes, sir. Here we are once again. We have our main man from a South Carolina hoops recruiting point of view in the building tonight. Tonight we have with us Andrew Baxley from Prep Hoops SC. What's going on, Bax?
Dude, I'm doing good. How are you?
I can't complain. I can't complain. Let's and we actually phrase this as the summer recap. So, just from a general perspective, I know you were everywhere this summer. Talk a
Yeah.
little bit about the summer and just from a total a macro view. How you felt like the summer went for South Carolina hoops.
Yeah, for sure. So, I'll just start off with, I guess, kind of what the summer is. So, like, we kind of consider summer everything from the beginning of AAU basketball up until the end of July. Obviously, there are still some teams playing now. We don't really get out to those as much. The live periods are over. So, teams will start playing really almost as soon as their high school seasons are over. They'll have tryouts for AAU. They'll start tournaments right away. So really just April, May, June, July, it's just every weekend a different city and a different event. Just trying to see everyone, see all the players because I mean we have over 300 players ranked on Prep Hoops South Carolina across the three classes
Mm.
that we have right now. So we want to see everybody. We want to keep everybody equal in terms of how much exposure we give them. So it can be a hassle for sure. But me and my other or the other scout at Prep Hoops South Carolina, Brett Swanson, we both try to work really hard, just getting in the gym and making sure we get to see as many of the Palmetto State prospects as we can.
So before we actually get into those prospects that you just mentioned, how many different tournaments just ballpark it? How many different tournaments did you go to this summer in the 2 to 3 month time span?
I mean, it would be. I would say, I'd say maybe 25's a good ballpark because you have to think like Um, April, May, or every weekend. I probably had one weekend off in both of those, so that would be six at least. But then June's really definitely the busiest one because June is what they call the scholastic period, where the players get to practice and play games with their high school teams. They take a break from AAU and they play with their high school teams. So that is both weekends and weekdays. So definitely June's the busiest, but also my favorite because I get to see how those players have progressed and then they come back to their school teams where it means just a little bit more. Obviously, June doesn't matter at all, but you get to see how those teams have been and how their coaches adjust to them and their new talents and stuff. And then back to July. July's busy as well because there's two live periods in July, and some of those are weekdays as well. But I mean, yeah, so many tournaments. I'd say 25 is probably about a good number.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let's get into the players.
All right,
Let's get into the
let's do
players.
it.
Well, we're gonna start at 2025.
Okay,
The upcoming seniors
seniors.
for well,
Yep,
actually the seniors now because
yep.
because school's already started. From a broad perspective, we talk about the senior class, and then we're going to start talking about some individual players. So talk about some of the top players in the class, but then also we're going to kind of get into more detail.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, this year has been pretty unique for the rising seniors class because we've had a lot of departures. So I'll just kind of go over those quickly. But I mean, in our top five, even we've had three players that have been in the top five of our Prep Hoops 2025 class at some point depart the state of South Carolina. So Hayden Simeon, who is a University of South Carolina commit, he played at Powdersville, played a year at Legacy Early College. He's now at Moravian Prep. Jones Lay, who played at Atlantic Collegiate, also at Myrtle Beach for some time. He's also now at Moravian Prep. And both of those will play in the Overtime Elite League as well as for Moravian Prep. So they'll attend school at Moravian Prep, which is a great program, almost solely basketball focused. They do have academics as well, but it's practice every day for multiple hours a day. But they're Moravian Prep. YNG Dreamers is the Overtime Elite name that they're with. Zeke Marshall, who's a two-sport athlete. He plays football and basketball. Yeah, he's now at Raybun Gap in Georgia. Robert Moore from Porter God in Charleston. He's now at Arizona Compass. And Trey Maddox, who was at Gray Collegiate, is now at Combine Academy. So that's really an anomaly You'll have players leave the state to go to some bigger schools and some prep schools for sure. But to have 5 of them before we're even or as we're in August, it's something that is unique to this class for sure. But our top 5 is we've had a lot of guys that have been around the state and really been playing from a young age. So our current number 1 right now is Jordan Watford of Lancaster High School. Had a really good summer. Super consistent player. We have him listed at 6'4", but he's probably a point guard. So he's got great size, a terrific passer, a really good leader on the floor. Both just vocally and as well as like just keeping his teammates engaged, talking with coaches, making sure they're on the same page. Average 11 points per game, 4 rebounds per game, and over 2.5 assists per game. And 3 SSB play, which is the Adidas League. He plays for Upward Stars SC. Also a good defender. He'll get in there. He has good hands, steal the ball. Great mid-range game. We also have Caleb Evans now at number 2. Caleb played for 2 different AAU teams this year. Up until the month of July, he played with Gardner Road at Adidas, but before that, he played with Georgia Stars. But he was one of the better players from the Scholastic period with Lexington High School. So he's a defending 5A state championship. But when I got to see him against Ridgeview in North Augusta, he went for 29 points on 5 of 7 3-point field goals. Extremely shifty, deep range. He's got one of the deepest bags in the state for sure, and an exciting watch just because you never know what he's going to do in terms of scoring. He can score anywhere on the floor, super quick, great handle, just really a highlight reel type of player for a guard. I really am interested to see where he goes. He's definitely a D1 player. Yeah, what's up?
I'm gonna stop you right there with Caleb, and we're gonna keep going. But
for sure.
I was fortunate enough to actually be at that game when they played Ridgeview, and to be honest with you, I think he took that game personally because I think he was a little uneven in the game before that, and I think he took that matchup with Yale Davis personally, and he was on fire against Ridgeview, man. Sure. He was on fire, and I know his stock really increased that day. That afternoon. So much respect to a young Caleb Evans because he brought it that evening against what I believe is the most talented team in the state in Ridgeview, and we can talk about that later. They have the most. I'm not even sure there's a number 2, but they definitely have the most talented team in the state. So keep going. I'm sorry, Bax.
Yeah, extremely talented, and I'll just finish up on Caleb real quickly. But it's really impressive that he did that against Ridgeview because, like you said, they're extremely talented. They have so many different options they can throw at him, and yet none of them worked for a long period of time. So that was impressive for sure. Not just to me, not just to you, but to the college coaches that were there courtside, because when we were in North Augusta, that was a live period. So there were college coaches in attendance, and they certainly took note of his performance there. We also got Tristan Thompson, another guy who has really June and July, he looked like the most consistent player in the state. He was awesome, both in June with Wilson High School and then going back to Upward Stars in July. He's got a lot of new offers, man. They have really started to funnel in during that period. He's a really balanced scorer, good size and athleticism, a super tough defender, 6'5". So at this level, he can really shoot over people, or he can take them down to the paint as well. And that is, if we're going to say Ridgeview's the most talented team, then Wilson probably is the best 1-2 combo with him and Josh Leonard. So I think that's going to be a really tough one. And Tristan's a guy that I really like for sure. A couple more just rounding out the top 5. Abijah Franklin, and Melvin Teal, 2 more guards. Abijah's a bit more of a score first guy. Probably the best returning scorer in the state. Yeah, go ahead.
I got to stop you 1 second.
Yeah.
Franklin is different, man. He is a showman. He definitely is a show. I will put he and Yale Davis right up there, the 2 guys. They might not be the best players, but in terms of bringing the show, and if you have $5 to $10, $15 that you want to spend to watch somebody play basketball, Franklin, and we talk about Yale a little bit later, but Franklin is definitely worth the show. Talk about a little bit about Baba, is what they call him, Baba Franklin.
Yeah, so he goes to Wren High School just down the street from me. So I'm actually at Southern Wesleyan University. I'm in my senior year, just started yesterday, but So he's just down the road from me, and you just talked about it. If you want to spend $10 just to go watch a game on a Friday night, and you're in the Greenville, Easley area, that is definitely the number one player I would recommend you have to watch at least once during the year. Because
Yes.
he's not just a great scorer, but he can put on a show at the rim at any point.
Oh
He
yeah.
can dunk on
Oh
you.
yeah.
He can go high flying in transition. And man, he just knows how to put the ball in the basket. There's not too many people in the state that can keep him out of the paint, but he's also a great shooter. Like you might think he's settling for threes, like just because he can get to the paint whenever, but he's a great shooter. It's just also that he can get to the paint whenever he wants to. So he's really a super fun watch for sure. Started the year at USC Unleashed, which is a new team to the Nike EYBL Champions Circuit. But when they didn't qualify for Peach Jam, when the 17s didn't qualify for the Peach Jam, he joined Gardner Road alongside Caleb Evans and Jones Lay from South Carolina. They had a good tournament there. And then Melvin Teal down in the Low Country, Somerville High School and Charleston Raptors. He's actually playing high school football for the first time in his high school career. I think he said it had been 6 years since he last played competitive football. So, but if you ever seen Melvin in person, like that doesn't surprise you at all, just because of how strong he is. Really, really physical guard. I only got to see him once this summer, unfortunately, in person. I did watch some film in the film room article that we'll talk about later. But man, he's a really good player. He's a point guard for sure. He likes to get his people involved. He'll crash the glass. He'll score the ball. Gaining some D1 and some D2 interest. But he's a great player as well. Melvin Teal from Somerville. But yeah, that's our top 5 right there in the 2025 class.
No, and thank you for running down that list. And obviously, there are a ton of guys in the 2025 class. But
yeah,
one thing, just to backtrack a little bit on Thompson, and I know we kind of spoke about it a little bit in North Augusta. And Melvin Teal will get into you. He's got a body on him. He will definitely get into you. Just to backtrack on Tristan Thompson a little bit.
Yeah.
His recruiting, just by reading the reading newspapers and reading what I saw online, was somewhat light coming into the summer. And he must have had a hell of a summer, because he picked up a ton of offers towards the end of the summer, and obviously after the summer was over. Is that the same kind of feeling that you got when you started seeing some of those offers piling in?
Yeah, 100%. And I would say the schools, they always knew who he was, and they had seen him before. But it just really felt like to them he took the next step as a basketball player. Like, because the physical tools had always been there. He'd always been one of the taller guards, a good athlete, a great defender. He's one of the best defenders in the state on ball. But just the offensive game sort of took a next step. And it seemed like he kind of added that killer mentality when he was the go-to guy. And the shooting improved as well. He had I think he had a 4-made 3 game with Upward in July. So just the overall offensive thing is something that has really taken a step for him. And I have some of his most recent offers here in front of me. George Mason, North Carolina A&T, Florida International, Coastal Carolina, USC Upstate, East Tennessee State, UNC Greensboro, UNC Asheville, and Morehead State. And that is all just in the month of July. So you talked about it. I mean, it's all come really quickly for him. And those are all good schools. They're all D1 schools that I could see him playing a real role at for sure when it's time.
Well, we're not homers here, but we do like some programs more than we like some others. George Mason is one hell of an education and one hell of a place to go to college.
And a great history. A great history as a basketball program. Yeah.
Exactly. So shout out to Tristan just for getting that offer and all the other. Obviously, hell, my dad went to North Carolina.
All these guys will be playing college basketball for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about the 26ers.
Yeah, let's do it.
So who do we need to know about in the 26 class?
Well, I'll tell you who you probably already know about first, and that's our top ranked player in the 2026 class. That's Corey Corbett out of Ridgeview, top 10 in 3 SSB, 16U play. He averaged 1.03 points per possession, so that's just kind of taking in the amount of time
Whoa. How the hell do you guys even track that?
That's not me. That's not me. That's Synergy. That's Synergy. So they're a super. Yeah. So Synergy is actually a great resource for basketball in general. I use them when I'm trying to sound smart to my friends talking about the NBA. So
Mhm.
I'll use it right now talking about Corey. So what points per possession is just kind of taking into account how often you play, how many times you're on the court, and how many times your offense has the ball versus how many times you score on that. So in general, he scored 13.3 points per game, but his points per possession was 1.03. So if you're above a point per possession, you're doing really, really well. And Corey was above that for sure. And something that I've noticed for Corey that's really getting better. And you can talk to Coach Christian Savage because I know you have him on later. He's an assistant coach and one of his trainers. You should talk to him about Corey's development. But something they've been working on a lot is that the 3-point shot, and it's really, really improved. And as it continues to get better, it's only going to be harder for defenses to account for him because he's 6'4", but he's one of the best offensive rebounding guards that there is. Just because he wants it so hard, and that's kind of why Ridgeview can play smaller with him at the 4 at times if they need to. Just because he's such a good rebounder, he's so physical, and when he gets the ball in the paint, like he can score just about any way he wants. He's a good athlete. He can hang and finish. He can finish around. He can finish over, and he can even work in the post as well. So he's a really an all-around paint scorer. But if that 3-point percentage continues to increase as it has, he's going to be a nightmare to guard. And that's why he's our number one player in the state for the 2026
The,
class.
the one thing I like about him, and this was my first time seeing him this past summer, is
Yeah.
He gets to his spot. You're not going to knock him off his spot. And he has a really cool demeanor in that, he doesn't get frazzled, and I think that playing in that environment with coach, with the coach there at Ridgeview, Coach Staley.
Coach Staley.
He definitely, he's not going to get rattled. So, I really appreciate his game, and he's going to be a Power 5 player.
Yeah, I like Corey a lot. Number 2 is Trey Raymond, who was unfortunately injured for a good part of the year. That an injury that they suffered in the high school season, but he did come back in June. Didn't get to see him as much as I wanted to, but he's a really good player. 6'9", super versatile. Can score the ball. Number 3 is Elton Smith, another Columbia area guy. He goes to Cardinal Newman. Started this year with Upward Stars SC, then moved to Jet Academy, which is sponsored by Kenny the Jet Smith, North Carolina Tar Heel legend. I got to get that one in there. But he's been really good. He was really good since the switch over. 10.5 points per game, over 5 rebounds per game with Jet Academy. One of the best passing big men we have here in the state of South Carolina. Just the one thing for him that as he continues to understand that he needs to work hard every play, especially in EYBL play, that's something that will really take him to the next level. Because when he's at Cardinal Newman, he's so big, he's so strong, he's so talented that he can just kind of pick his spots, and they have such a talented team that he can pick his spots. But that's something I noticed for him. In Peach Jam, he was really good in the matchup that I got to watch, and he was so consistent, working hard on every single play, and that was one of the best performances I had seen him have. Drew a couple charges, which you would always love a big man to do. Protected the rim with shot blocking. The paint scoring and the passing will always be there. But I really like Elton for sure. He's a super talented player. Number 4, Lance Barnes. He's someone who's actually making a move from high school. So he started at Catawba Ridge, did his freshman and sophomore year there for the Copperheads. He's now going to be at Legacy Early College in Greenville. That's an EYBL Scholastic program, which is the old NIBC. So they're going to play against teams like Montverde, IMG, Arizona Compass Prep, all teams in that league. So Lance is definitely going to be one of the guys they want to build around for the future. He's a terrific guard, man. He can do a lot of good things with the ball in his hands. He's another one who the 3-point shot is improving. But I would really expect that as he gets to Legacy, as he gets to Greenville. I think they're already moved in and started classes. But as they work on that every day with Coach Jackson and Coach Rob Rose, who's their skill development guy, a really, really talented coach in terms of player development. As they work with that in the jump shot, he's gonna become a really, really good player for them. A great point guard, super balanced, good passer, good scorer, good on-ball defender as well. So Lance Barnes at Legacy Early College, and that's going to be a fun one for them. And then number 5 is Mike Jones out of Indian Land. Another terrific scorer. He was averaging over 20 points per game last year. He's already over 1,000 points. I think he's already over 1,500 career points, which is crazy after 2 years.
Mike
Mike Jones,
Jones.
another really talented player. If you're looking at this list and you just want someone to put the ball in the basket, Mike Jones might be your guy because man, that dude can really score it. Upward Stars SC in Indian Land. But there's the 2026 class is really deep for sure. Caden Coleman, another transfer going from Hillcrest to Greenville. Greenville's one of my favorite teams in terms of picking a state champion this year. 5A stack, but I think Greenville could be one of those top teams. And I think he's really going to be flourished because at Greenville he's going to have a true big to play next to, and Frank Whitley, who was unfortunately injured for them last year, but he's back healthy and just so much shooting. Man, Greenville is a terrific shooting basketball team led by Tucker Scholl, a rising sophomore, shot over 40% from three last year. So just playing with all that shooting around them, Caden's going to be at his best. Jake Thomas from Oceanside Collegiate, another just a straight winning player. If you're a D2 out there and you're looking for someone who's going to come in and just impact winning right away, I think Jake Thomas is a real guy for sure from Oceanside Collegiate and Middleton Hoops Elite. Great feet from a post player, super efficient scorer. And Oceanside Collegiate, they've been one of the best teams in June, for my opinion, and back-to-back years. And they're probably one of the favorites in 3A now because we talked about Hayden Simeon earlier, but he's leaving Powdersville, who are the defending 3A state champions. And, man, that would have been a really fun matchup in a potential state championship game between Thomas and Simeon. But now with Simeon gone, Thomas is probably the most dominant big man left in Class 3A. So they're definitely a team you want to watch out for and see if they can finally get over that state championship hump. And then one more big man to talk about, a little bit lower in our rankings, but still a super, super talented player is Lucas Wiersma from TL Hanna, another one close to me, and Anderson, another Upward Stars guy, a super hard worker. He was more of a role player for Upward Stars. He would start some games, definitely. But he's a good rebounder, really good finisher around the rim with either hand, going up and under, going with either handed hook shot. Like I said, high motor, good finisher, good rebounder, and he's one. And his brother, actually Bryce Wiersma, who's a rising freshman, got to play up with the 15U Upward Stars. So the Wiersma brothers, too, you're going to want to watch out for sure. And then one I forgot to tell you about when we were talking about earlier, but another legacy transfer from out of state, 2026, Dezon Hall from Phenom United. That was his AAU team. I'm pretty sure they're based out of Ohio. So he actually averaged over 20 points per game and 5 assists per game in the 3 SSB championships in Rock Hill in their final event. He was one of the best players in the 2026 class. He's got lots of offers already. He's a really crafty finisher and a good shooter, left-handed guard, 6'3". Once we update our rankings with him, he'll be one of our top players for sure. But he's one that people in South Carolina need to keep an eye on as he's a new face for our state. That's Dezon Hall from Legacy Early College.
Damn, Bax. Man, nobody can beat what you do, man. Like, you know all these kids. You put the time in and going to watch them. So thank you for that rundown.
Yeah, of course.
Tell me about who's not on the list.
Yeah.
That we need to, because when you're top 5, there's only one place to go, and that's down typically. Tell me about who's not on the list that we need to keep an eye out for.
Well, I mean, most people so I guess we'll just talk about rankings for sure. Like, everyone wants to be ranked number 1, obviously. Not everyone can be ranked number 1. It's a really difficult job. So just keeping everyone happy. Someone that we talked about before, Yale Davis. That's someone that we definitely like for sure. Left-handed guard, super quick. Just the thing that's hard with rankings is we can't always see everyone when they're at their best, and we can't always see everyone at the same time. That's the difficulty. And when we saw Ridgeview has so much talent, they have to play everyone, especially in June. They have to get everyone involved. Right. So maybe the people they would normally have a big role don't have as big of a role. I mean, we have Yale at 6, which is,
is he 6 in this class?
Amazing. Six in this class is where we have him.
He's 6 in this class.
There's so much talent in the state. We wish everybody could be number 1, obviously. But I think the 2026 class is one of our better classes in recent years. Some more people maybe outside of that top 10 range you want to know about. Just kind of going through. Mark Castlereau. So he's at Catawba Ridge, a big guy, 6'10". I'm not sure if you got to see Catawba Ridge, but obviously Lance is gone. He's going to be the guy now. He played at Nation Ford last year, but he was coming off the bench behind Caden Giles, who's now doing a post grad year at Flight 22 Prep. So Mark Castlereau, a big guy that you want to watch out for sure. He's had some experience with the Romanian youth national team, so that's his background. So he's maybe one down there in the rankings you want to watch out for. But Lucas is another one. We have Lucas at 36, but he's a really terrific player, another big guy. Jake Thomas is at 19. So that's just how talented this class is. And when you have guys like Jake and Lucas and Mark so low in the rankings, and your guy Yale, when Yale's at 6, you have a great class.
Well, I'm gonna say this,
Yeah. Give it to him.
It is what it is. Shout out to my man Cam and Mace. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the best.
At the end of the day, like our opinion doesn't matter. Like we said, all that matters is the college coach's opinions.
Yeah.
And the college coaches like Yale Davis. So he's going to be just fine. He's going to be a great.
He is going to be fine. Yale Davis is the best point guard in South Carolina. I don't care if it's 2026, 2027, 2025, 20. It is what it is. He's the best point guard in South Carolina, in my humble opinion. But one other person I did want to, and thank you for this rundown.
Of course.
One other person I did want to ask you about is Colt Fowler. We do like Colt Fowler a lot, man, from Burns. Talk about Colt a little bit.
Yeah, so Colt is really someone who's kind of stood out from day one. So I remember the first time I saw Colt in June of last year. So background for Colt, he plays for Burns High School for his father, Lane Fowler. Last year played with his brother, Will Fowler. So the first time I saw them was in the first June event of last year at Burns. And of course, Coach Fowler's his dad, his coach. He sees him every day. He's seen all the work he's put in. He knows how good he is, but still brings him off the bench just because that's the Burns culture. Like, you have to work for everything you have. But Colt quickly became the starting point guard of that team, and helped lead them to a state championship appearance. Unfortunately, didn't get it done. Will was awesome in that game. His brother Will Fowler was awesome in that game. The thing with Colt, he's so quick that sometimes he can be too fast. He can sometimes play too fast. And that's still what Burns wants to do. They nickname themselves the Running Rebels because of their fast tempo. It really works out well for them. And Colt's he was literally born to be a point guard for the Running Rebels, like literally. So I love Colt. He's a great shooter, super quick. Like I said, great handle, good passer. He's a little small, but he's going to be fine. Colt's a great basketball player already. And when you're a freshman point guard on one of the top 2 teams in your class for the state, like, you're only going to continue to get better if you're that. And the ceiling is way up there for Colt Fowler for sure. I love his game.
Yeah, I love his game too. And one thing I love about him is you're not going to intimidate Colt Fowler. You might outplay him, but you're not going to intimidate him. He's a tough point guard.
He's got swagger. He's got swagger for sure.
But Andrew Baxley, man,
yeah.
You've done it again, man. You've done it again. You have impressed us with your knowledge of South Carolina hoops, and you actually getting out there grassroots, putting the miles in, and much respect to you and the good people over there at Prep Hoops SC.
Yeah, I would say
for putting all these miles in.
Yeah, one player we definitely can't cut it short without talking about is the number 1 player in the 2027 class, someone who could be the best flat-out player in the state for sure, and that's Josh Leonard out of Wilson High School. Josh Leonard, man, there's no doubt that he could be one of the best players in the country by his senior year. He's already got the Clemson offer. He's already got the South Carolina offer. I've talked to both those schools about him, and they certainly see him as a fit there. They would love to have him there. But the big schools are going to get involved for sure with Josh Leonard just because, man, he is so physically dominant. And he's playing against people who are older than him. So he was playing as an 8th grader at Wilson when they went to the state championship, the 4A state championship a couple of years ago. He was great for them last year. He's been playing up a division with Upward Stars. So next year he'll be in the 17U. as a rising junior. So he's been playing older the entire time, but yet he's still dominating everybody physically and athletically. He's just an amazing, amazing basketball player. So versatile, creates mismatches wherever he wants. He's a good shooter and a good ball handler for his age as well. Most of the time with athletic wings, with strong athletic wings, when they're young, they're not good shooters and they're not good ball handlers. But Josh Leonard is just fine for both of those. So he's going to be an amazing player. And if you're in South Carolina, man, you have to watch him at some point. And don't wait till it's too late. Don't wait until he's clearly the best player in the state and it's not even close. Give him a chance while it's still close and there's still some competition, man. You got to get out and watch Josh Leonard, man. He's an awesome player. Would be great if he could stay in state for Clemson or South Carolina, like Gigi Jackson did a couple years ago, like Cam Scott did. Not saying he has to go to Columbia. I'm completely neutral on both those teams. I'm a South Carolina guy, not University of South Carolina. I'm a state of South Carolina guy. So love to have him stay, but he's gonna go wherever he wants, basically. And if that means one day the NBA, if he continues to put that work in, there's no doubt he can be there one day.
Yeah, I'm glad you actually brought him up because sometimes we tend to focus, especially on this side, we tend to focus on, the players who are not Power 5 and, players who probably need a little bit more. But Josh Leonard, we don't need to really talk about him too much. He's already there. And as you said, if it continues to go linear for him, the sky is the limit. The sky is the limit. And, he'll get to wherever he needs to get to. But one last question for you before, and actually, I've got some time here. When you look at the landscape of the 2025s this year as compared to the 2024s who were last year, how do you think the talent? Matches up? Obviously we had Cam Scott coming through last year. He was a Power 5 talent. He's now at the University of South Carolina. How do you think the overall talent matches up?
Yeah, so I would definitely say from a 1-to-1 standpoint, it was better last year because Cam was a great player, a 4-star nationally at South Carolina now, and he's going to play real minutes as a freshman. I think really the one thing that kind of separates the 2024 class from the 2025 class and what makes it better from a top 10 standpoint, I think 2025 might be a little bit deeper from the 10 to 30 range. But the thing that makes the 2024 class better from the top 10 is the shooting. If you look at a lot of the top guys in the state for the 2025 class, the biggest weakness would be consistent shooting. Like for Jordan Watford, I can talk about him because he knows that that's somewhere he can work on, and he doesn't shoot a lot of threes because he doesn't need to. But if he was a good 3-point shooter, he would be a Power 5 recruit for sure. That's not saying he's not going to be a Power 5 guy. He's a great point guard, great leader, like I said. But the shooting is the one thing that he can work on from the perimeter. But if you think about last year, there were so many good shooters. You got Cam, you got Julian, you got Justin, man. Those would be probably the 3 best shooters in this class if they were in this class. And obviously the 2 of them had to be behind Cam because he was the best player in the state and the best shooter in the state. Just from that standpoint, if the top 10 were all just a little bit better shooters, they would all be just a little bit higher recruited. And that's something that colleges are always looking for. And that's something for seniors, when you have that extra time when you get out of class at 12:30, you have that extra time to go and work on the shooting. So I'm not saying it's going to be a long-term concern for any of these guys. I just think right now that from a general state standpoint, the shooting for everyone could improve just a little bit, and that would make it all just a bit more competitive and make that state championship in Florence a little bit more exciting as we get there in March.
Damn, Bax, you want everybody to be JJ Redick out here.
No, don't say JJ Redick. Don't say JJ Redick. You know I'm Ontario. Don't say that.
Well, Hubert Davis. Who's it?
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Put respect on Coach Davis.
But
people don't know how good of a shooter Coach Davis was. People don't know that.
Man, he was outstanding.
people might just think that he's a coach, man. They thought he played
No,
at North Carolina, but they don't know that he was statistically one of the most efficient shooters in NBA history, man. They don't know that. They don't know ball like that.
He and Donald Williams were probably the two best shooters ever come through the University of North Carolina. But that's a conversation for a different day. And I will say this as we wrap this up. I actually think Jordan, and we're gonna have Jordan on Thursday. I think Jordan's best days as a basketball player are ahead of him because so many of the things like his hard work and his composure and he's going to continue to get better as a collegiate. So I think his best days are ahead of him. But Bax, much respect to you, man, and thank you so much for joining us here on the Lost Letterman. And we're going to make sure we touch base periodically as the season progresses.
Of course. Thanks for having me. Thanks to all those listeners out there. I hope you guys enjoyed my opinions. Make sure you stay tuned with the Lost Letterman, man. They do a great job at all times. Both. I learned recently you guys do football as well. I watched some of those videos and it got me excited for Friday nights. I know they're coming up. I'm a basketball guy first, but I'll be tuned into some of those football stuff as well.
Bax, we do it all. We do hockey, lacrosse, croquet, whatever you want to do.
You can keep that. You can keep those.
But I did want to plug the film room. Talk about the film room before we get out of here, because high school players are always wanting to get feedback. Tell us about the film room, and then we're gonna get.
Yeah. So the current article series that I'm doing on Prep Hoops, if you want to check it out, it's Prep Hoops SC. So prephoops.com. Then go to the South Carolina page. So I reached out on Twitter. I did a post on Twitter just saying to all players in South Carolina, whether you're ranked, unranked, freshman, sophomore, seventh grader, whatever, like just submit your film. Let me know where you go to school. If you play AAU, height, and just drop your film in below. And everyone who replied, I have over 50 replies. And I'm just going to watch their film, watch their highlight reels, let them know what I think. Like what I see from it, what I didn't see from it, that I would like to see from it, and just in general, just review film, man. It's a great way to stay connected with players across the state because, like we said, we're in the gym watching players, but we can't watch everybody. It's impossible to watch everybody. It's a great way to stay connected with people maybe we didn't get to see in over the summer. Maybe we only got to see once or twice, or even people that we got to see a lot, but maybe we didn't see a certain side of their game that they want to show on film. And I'm working through those. So if you want to check those out, go to prephoops.com, or you can follow me on Twitter at Andrew Baxley SC. I'll have the links to all those. And I also, when I post in the link to the story, I'm copying in their film as well, so you can watch along. And if you agree with me, great. If you disagree with me, great. I'm always open to feedback. And you can watch those films and just see what you like for yourself. A guy I talked about, Dazon Hall, he'll be in my film room series a little bit later. One of the new faces to the state. He'll be in it later, so I'll link his film in there. I hope everybody watches his film. Hope everybody checks out all the players in South Carolina for sure, because it's a great resource. Highlights are great because you can see anybody easily, but also highlights are not great because they're highlights. Nobody shows their bad moments in highlights, so you always got to take it with a grain of salt for sure.
All right, Bax, that's enough about the Bax brand. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll definitely make sure, obviously, everybody go check out Prep Hoops SC, and obviously, even more importantly, Andrew Baxley, man. You're the best in the business, and I don't say that just because you're on here. You're the best in the business.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. We'll talk soon.
Yes, sir.
All right, bye.
Coach!
What's up, my guy? My bad. I had football practice. Got out kind of late.
Oh, man, it's all good, man. It's all good. Hold on a second. Let me get you right. There you go. You're right now. Hold on one sec. I got to introduce you, let everybody know who I'm talking to, because there's only one. And if I lie, we say find a lie. If I lie, shut me up. There's only one program in the state of South Carolina that's on the prestigious Nike circuit.
No, it was one more. We got Chris Middleton Elite.
Okay, well, two then. Shit.
It's two. You got two. Just two.
Well, it's only one in Columbia.
There's only one that went to Peace Jam, though.
Okay.
The only one that qualified for
Okay.
Peace Jam.
We have a man, Coach McCray from CA Johnson, but more importantly, well, I shouldn't say more importantly, but also from Team USC. What's going on, Coach?
How y'all doing, man? How everybody? Everybody's good, man.
I'm
Everything's great
I'm
over here,
good,
man.
man.
You ain't gonna find me complaining about anything, man.
Talk about the summer.
Man, we had a great summer, man. You know, we got on the circuit. They made us play the EYCL. We basically ran through that. Uh, it was easy. AB Elite, great team out of Texas. Probably us two, probably the best two teams that was there. They just happened to be on the same side of us and had to meet us. So we had to. Everybody thought they were gonna beat us. You know, we little South Carolina, so we had to show up and show out.
Now,
Went to the
now, correct me if I'm sorry. Go ahead.
went so that made it. We qualified Peace Jam. Then they came up with something else we had to play in. So we ended up playing. Boo Williams handled that, and good decent showing. I think we definitely should have came out of our pool in the Peace Jam. I think the players got a little content, but they understand what's up now, so that won't never happen again.
Now, before we get to the Peach Jam, talk a little bit about the other places that you guys go guys went because I know you guys played in other tournaments besides the Peach Jam. I think you guys went in Indiana and a few other places. Talk about some of those other tournaments.
Yeah. So we was the EYBL and the EYBLC. Okay, the EYBL circuit is for the Nike teams that got history that been fully sponsored. The EYBLC was invited teams under Nike to prove that you have a chance to become a full-blooded Nike team and also qualify for the Peace Jam. So
Okay,
we
I
play.
got you.
So we travel around the country playing against those guys. But you know, since most of my players been in the second grade, we've been playing top level competition. And the difference between us and a lot of the sponsor programs and the shoe company program, none of our kids are reclassed. You know, all our kids are age, and so I don't know if we lost connection or not.
No,
We
we
still
good. Go
good?
ahead.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we good.
So you know, we've been doing it the right way for a long time, and finally we had a chance to show the nation. We've been the nation, but really show where we at and where we stand, and how good our players are.
Now you just talked about your players. Who are some of these players that you're talking about? Who are some of the studs on your squad?
Okay, so real quick, we got two real good squads. People don't know that. So, but they only allow one. They only allow one on the circuit this year. But we have two very outstanding squads. I got 22 kids that can play. But some of
Okay.
our top kids on the EYBL team, of course, I heard them mention DJ Wiley, uh, just turned 15, probably one of the youngest, probably the youngest 2027 kid in the country. Great, can do it all. I know they say Josh Leonard, the best 2027 kid, but no, DJ Wiley is hands
Okay.
down.
Okay.
And like I say, he's younger than some ninth graders, and he's a 10th grader now.
Okay.
He's younger than a lot of ninth graders. Can do it all. Go out 1 through 5. Can shoot with the best of them. Everybody know about his athleticism, and can play without the ball. He affect the game without the ball, and that's what people don't understand, and people miss out on basketball. But the college coaches see it. You know, people push certain people, but he's going to eventually show that he's the best. Once he continue to work and grow. But we have a boatload. We got Jeremy Rabbit Anderson over at Irmo High School, 6'5", about 210, can shoot it, put it on the floor, can do whatever. And all my kids can do that. Got Preston Scott, he actually out of North Carolina, very good point guard. Got Trey Smith, Levon Trey Smith over at Spring Valley, probably the best defensive point guard, one of the best defensive point guard in the country. Got James Smith, he tore his ACL, was missing him, and if we had him, as a whole different story in that Peace Jam. One of the best on-ball defender. Got my son, McCray, one of the best shooters. Chris Horton, one of the best shooters. We got Jaden Haynes out of Anderson, A good addition. We just got him. He's growing, gonna be a good big man. Got Jay Sean Sanders out of Spartanburg, uh, real good big man. Peyton Jennings, white and all, good shooter, virtual combo guard, 6'2", 6'3", can play everywhere. One of the most underrated players that a lot of people see but don't mention, JT Van
Right.
Kellen. JT Van Kellen from Ridgeview, do it all utility guy. Um, Man, we just got to host everybody on who I missed from that team. I think that's everybody. That's all 11 kids, all 12 kids from that team. Um, from the
Well,
other team, you got go ahead.
let me ask you this, Coach. And I'm not on the AAU circuit that much, but I'll say this: I've seen Adidas, I've seen like New Balance, and
It ain't close.
I saw
It ain't
I saw
close.
I saw Nike.
It ain't
Nike's
close.
it looks different. It just looks different at Nike.
It's just different.
Talk
It's
about
more,
the difference.
the difference is more. It prepares you a little more for professional ball. It got an NBA concept to it. The speed, the physicality is just different. And not to say anything bad about any of the old circuit. My son played with over on that circuit. Wish he would have went to Nike. Few Nike teams wanted him, but he wanted to stay home, and I was all with it. Whatever he wanted to do.
Mhm.
So, but it's just a different circuit. Like, man, no disrespect. We played Adidas team. We played the top 27 Adidas team. That's 15, 20 points every time. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
New Balance, the same. Now, one Puma team got us. Team Miss got it early in the season. We wish we could have first tournament of the season, but we wish could have seen them again. And they got a good team, but it ain't close, man. I'm just gonna be honest with everybody. Anybody want to put their 2027 up team against our 2027 team, and we one of the top Nike teams, and we run through them. So it ain't close. The Nike circuit, the atmosphere, the way it's ran, it's close. And all other circuits do a great job. Don't get me wrong, but just the competitive level, the competition, the high level that come out of there abroad, like it just every team, 5, 6, 7, 8 players that can go. You see, it's just different.
So
They can get mad
so
at me,
how
but
many?
it's different. They know it's different though. They
Well,
know
I
they know.
mean, I'm not in that AAU world, but I could tell just by looking at it. It does look. I mean, it looks a little different. Nike versus some other circuits. That doesn't mean that you can't get recognized on the other circuits,
You're
but
gonna get
Nike does
recognized
look
on
different.
each. If
Yeah.
you can play, gonna see you. So
Right.
that's the thing. And then everybody knows a lot of different things go on with it, playing with the Nike circuit and stuff like that. So you get a little. I don't want to say all that, but at the end of the day, if you can play, they're gonna see you. So you're gonna have top players. You might have the number 1 kid come out of Adidas in a class. You might have number 2 kid come
Right.
out of Adidas, but you're gonna have 10 through 50 from Nike.
But
If you know what I mean by that. You see what I'm saying? You're gonna have
this
10
is
through
my
50, 5 through 20 from Nike. So it's
right.
gonna be more Nike players come through.
Well, this is my other point. You can get on Nike and get embarrassed too. Were your guys ready to play on that circuit, especially when you guys went down to North Augusta? Do you feel like you guys were ready to play?
Yeah, we definitely was ready to play.
Okay.
I say we definitely, like I said, we should have came out of our pool. I think we took it for granted.
Right.
We was happy to be
Right.
there. Like one of the coaches after the game, he came straight up and told me, like, man, you keep that team together, man. Y'all probably win our age group next year.
Wow.
And they
Wow.
understand that because we don't have no reclass kids. Like our kids, a lot of our kids just turning 15 this year. And that's the difference. So it was a little bodies and different things. Like I said, we were happy to be there. We beat Mocan, Elite. They went to the Elite 8. We beat them. We should have dominated expressions. Not to make excuses. They shot 38 free throws. We shot 19. One kid shot 19 free throws. Our whole team shot
Wow.
19 free throws. And being that we lose, you see those games by 14 and stuff like that. I think that's the most we lost by. But that's a lot at the end, fouling, or they went even like with expressions, what they did was, they just kept playing. getting buckets all the way to the buzzer to try to keep the score going, try to keep the score going up. So, not to make an excuse, because we no excuse game. We lost, they beat us, but they know who we are. And we beat Jet Academy early in the year. We beat them by 10, 11 points early in the year. They was a Final Four team. Like, we done these teams. We done played these teams. We didn't just play them at the Peach Jam. We done ran through some of the best Nike teams, period. And we're the thing about us, we got 7 kids that been together since 2nd grade. This ain't going back and pick and get. And we have pick players up here and there, but our team look the same every year. You might have one, like we got Preston 2 years ago. We picked Jay Sean up this year. We picked Jayden up this year. Everybody else been there at least 4 or 5 years. 4 years. We lost Mason Collins. He reclassed North Carolina. Mason's still with us. Is a different story. We Aiden Lee, one of the top. He reclassed one of the top 2028. Myrtle Beach, man. When y'all see this kid, y'all gonna say what? Y'all people just don't know, man. Like, it's coming. So it's coming. And we're gonna show next year. We're gonna show you on the high school next. Just watch the high school basketball games. Watch how those boys affect and how you tell them Yale Davis out of our program. Yale Davis from our program. Don't let nobody fool you. He's from Team USC, and he's the best point guard in 2026, hands down. Defensively and offensively, point guard. I
think he's the best point guard.
And they know that, so they can stop all that. They know that. And head up. They done been head up, and he showed. And he done play. He played on the bet. He played on the high. He played on the circuit. He eats everywhere he go. So we can start with all the politicking and all the playing. Like, man, Team USC got the best players in the state, point blank period. 26 and 27.
I love it.
The 27 group, we got some of the best players. Now there's some kids out like point guard for Burns,
Fowler, Colt Fowler.
Colt, boy, I love Colt. Colt can play. I love him. I talked to his dad. Kid can play. He's good. Josh Leonard
He's
can
tough.
play.
He's tough. He's tough.
You got Big Desmond from 27. He can play. So many kids, you know what I'm saying? But like I say, when my elite team line up, that's my second team, man. They running through the state. People they keep it quiet. They hide and run. They hide and Ryan them, Ryan Norris them, Epic. They did a nice little summer event for all the top teams to come and play. They was running from us, man. We want to play up.
I got to ask you a question, Coach. You talk about your squad, and I love your passion, man. I love your passion. Are you going to be able to keep them together, though, on your team? Because I know how AAU is. Are you going to be able to keep them together on your squad?
I just told you. 7 of our boys been together since 2nd grade. We family over here.
Okay.
It's different. So ain't nobody going nowhere. Not nobody who is family. That 7 right there. We straight with 7. You see what I'm saying? But we straight with 7. And I know definitely those 7 ain't going nowhere, but I don't think no one else going anywhere. And if it do, it's all good. Okay. I got a whole another squad that I can. This is what I'm telling you. I can mix and match play. It's just a fit. That squad came on. I think the kids was in the 6th grade when some of the players came. We just had to do the 2 squad. You can put you can put just about any one of those players in any one of those players' place, and they have the same success. The 2027 class, and I've been around a long time, and people probably don't know, most of the top players from the state of South Carolina came through our program from 2017 on up. So they better remember SC Heat is Team Unleashed. Ain't no difference. And they better know that. We fed the top 20, the top shoe company around here. They know that. We fed them for years. So
I love it.
They know what's up. They understand that. And now, I've been humble a little bit, but I'm gonna talk a little bit now because it was a lot of chatter in the back room about what we were doing and what we were trying to do. So we had to just go out and show. We don't tell no lies. We don't recruit no kids. I had yet to be really in somebody's inbox or sitting in somebody's living room like that. You know what I'm saying? Recently, my co-director Wiley, shout out to him. We started to say we got to do more of that. But my kids, especially my 7, and mostly all the kids that I coach from my teams, from the Josh Beatles to my sons to everybody, man, who came, Tariq Simmons, Devontae Shuler, call and ask those guys where that came from. You understand what I'm saying? So it ain't nothing that we ain't used to. We just finally getting the light because everybody else wanted to keep it quiet, but now we showing, and it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to knock that off the track because we got so many loyal parents and kids. So that helps a lot.
And I'm sure a lot of people behind this, and shout out to Coach Wiley as well. And I'm sure that there are a ton of people behind the scenes. But again, you on the big stage. You on that Nike stage. So and with that big stage comes a lot of responsibility too. So much respect to you guys, and much respect to your whole organization for being able to show and prove while you're on that stage.
Right. Appreciate it. And like I said, we ain't fully yet. So we trying to earn that fully. We was hoping our 2025 and a little 2026 do a little better than they did. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. We got to come out and be better, So and just don't forget, we in the community too now. We do a lot for the community. Every year we big in the community, and we ain't big on all the social media and broadcasting of what we doing, what the kids doing, what the program do. But just know we do that. So and
that's why we got you on here now.
Yeah, we building well-rounded men, point blank period. We building consistent elite men, and I can't shout out my women's program over there, our young girls over there, Team USC lady team over there. Deshaun White runs that program from us. They doing a great job too. Some of the top girls and the Malaysia Full White, she out our program. That's my girl. Everybody understand that. And see, I've always been the type. If I can't do nothing for the kid, if somebody could do something better for the kid, I'm gonna allow them to go ahead. I'm not holding on that we can't do nothing for them. You see what I'm saying? But they don't say that. They don't ever tell them that. We pushed kids. We had kids that begged to stay. Like, nah, we can't do that. We can't do that. GG Jackson, we go to CP3. That's better for you right now. We gonna get there, but right now we not there. So once we got there, we gonna hold on to the ones we can. And we gonna do that thing for them.
Well, you're getting close because you're obviously on the right circuit. But we got Coach Sav coming up. But much respect to you, Coach McCray, not only for what you're doing. Obviously, we're talking about Team USC, but what you're doing over there at CA Johnson as well. So
yeah. Look out for Johnson. We coming. State champs this year. Heard it first, right here.
Yeah, I got to talk. You got some dogs over there, but much respect to you and thanks for joining, man.
All right, appreciate you. And shout out to all South Carolina basketball program. Appreciate all the coaches, everything you're doing, everybody who working with the youth, everybody working with the travel ball, all the high school coaches, man. Just keep building South Carolina, keep building these youth, man. And much love to everybody. Appreciate you guys having me, and enjoy the rest of your night.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Coach Sam.
What up?
What's up, man?
What's going on? What's
man, up? Hold on a second. Let me get you right.
All right.
Man, Coach McCray just brought the energy, man. I gotta bring my energy down.
That's what he do. That's what he do, man. That's what he do, man. Yep.
Man, I gotta bring my energy back down. What's going on with you?
Hey, not much, man. Just getting home from the gym. Just had some training tonight, so just getting home.
Man, you stay training. So, man, first and foremost, much respect to you for what you're doing. I mean, obviously, people know you from Ridgeview, and then also what you do at Upward. But you do a lot of training. You're always in the gym. Much respect to you for all the. I know we're going to talk about AAU, but all the work you put in because it's easy to do what I do in terms of being on the microphone and all that kind of stuff. But I give you much more respect because you actually out there in the gyms every day and every night. So much respect to you, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. It's a grind. Some days better than others. Like, I had to take a couple of days off a couple of weeks ago because I was just drained, but I love being in there. And it's a lot of kids that, they depend on me. They want to get in the gym and get better. So I'm all for it.
Well, that's the thing about it. You can't fake it. You can't
Yeah,
fake
nah.
being in that gym.
Nah. Either you want to be in there or not. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, for sure.
So let's talk about this upward group, man. And first of all, one question I have for you is, because I know there are different upward organizations.
Yeah.
What separates you from the other upward organizations?
So basically, we got Upward Stars Southeast or 3SSB. That's like the elite team. That's the team that's sponsored and play on the Adidas circuit. And then I'm with Upward Stars Columbia. So Upward Stars Columbia is basically an independent program that's a branch off from Upward Stars Southeast. So we wear Adidas as well, Adidas jerseys, Adidas shoes, and stuff like that. And I'm the director for the Columbia program. So this past year, we had 5 teams, 2 eighth grade teams, 9th, 10th, and 11th. Well, we had 2 11th grade teams. So yeah, we had 5 teams, and then we got like Upward Stars PD. That's out of the Florence, Marion area. That's ran by DJ Kelly. He the head coach at Marion. And then you got Upward Stars Charleston. You got Upward Stars Upstate. You got Upward Stars CSRA. That's in North Augusta. And you got, I hope I'm not missing one, but yeah. So I'm just the director for Upward Stars Columbia.
How many tournaments did you guys play in this? Estimate how many tournaments you guys played in this summer?
About 8. It's like 7 or 8. I think we did about 8 though. I think that's where we was at.
How did it go?
It was solid. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of bounced around a lot. Like I was the director, so I bounced around between our 9th and 2 11th grade teams, and then we also had like a gold team that I was a part of. And the gold team, we basically played on the Adidas Gold circuit, and I mean, I was coaching a lot of teams this year, so I was doing a lot. But I mean, it went great for all our teams this summer. Quality competition. We play independent, so we play in Phenom Hoops on the radar. We don't do any circuit stuff, but it went well. Our kids got exposure. They played in front of college coaches during the live period, so that's the important part. And they also got better. They got quality reps, so that's something that's important to me when I talk to the parents. Just getting quality reps and actually getting better. You know what I mean?
As a coach, what are you selling to the parents and or the child? Are you selling exposure? Are you selling getting better? Are you selling, a combination of both? Well, like, what is your value add?
It's really a combination of both. It's about exposure, but it's also about getting better. Kerry Rich's son played with us in 8th grade, and I remember we were in a parent meeting, and Kerry Rich said something that was important, and it stuck with me ever since then. He said, I want my son to develop good habits going into high school. So that was when his son was in 8th grade at the time. And that just stuck with me. So that's something that I sell to the parents. I mean, we want to develop good habits going into your high school season, making sure you're getting quality reps, you're getting exposure. Social media is big, Twitter is big, right? So want to sell, or not really sell, but want to make sure that they're out there. We're making highlight tapes for the kids, or they're making their own highlight tapes and putting it on social media, and we're trying to pump their name. So just the exposure, getting better, building good habits, getting quality coaching. Those are the things that I talk to the parents about going into each year.
Coach, that's a good point, because so many times, especially I would assume parents want exposure. But the thing about exposure is sometimes if you're not ready, you can get exposed.
Yeah.
People don't think about that part of it. So that,
Right.
as you said, Kerry was talking, you need those good habits, first of all, to be ready. To be ready for your time, be ready
Right.
for your time. So
Right.
Tell me about some of these players, though, man, who, especially on your junior team. Talk about some of these players that you had.
So I'm gonna just go down the line. I'm gonna start with Upward Stars Columbia.
Okay.
Because I also want to touch on 3SSB as well, because
Okay.
I was an assistant coach for 3SSB for 4 years. I was the head coach for the ninth grade team 2 years ago, the 2025 group. So I mean, I'm tied into both, and it's a lot of players that I pretty much got my hands on or affiliated with. So I mean, we had 2 eighth grade teams this year for Columbia. We had a red team and a gray team. Gray team had CJ Moore, that's at Ridgeview, one of the best freshmen in the state, about 6'5". He's gonna be good. Um, Malik, he's at Keenan. He's a tough guard. You'll hear his name, Noah Smith. He's another one. And these are just kids they're freshmen now, but Noah Smith was one. Isaiah Jaquez, his brother played at Francis Marion. Both of them are going to be at Francis Marion this year. Horace, he's going to be at Keenan. Isaiah, Jaleel Jenkins at Westwood. He played JV as an 8th grader last year. Those are just a few of the kids. I liked a lot of kids on that great team. I ain't gonna lie, but those are just a few that probably stand out the most. Another kid, JJ, I really like. And then the red team that we had a kid from Hilton Head named Ketis Smith. Ketis Smith is going to be really good. He's about 6'5". Like I said, go to Hilton Head Christian, I believe. Really athletic. Hunter Collins at Lugoff Elgin. Sidney Haney. Jonah Gardner. It was just a lot of kids. It's a lot of kids in that 8th grade group that I really like. Chase Marshall. I really like that 8th grade group. Our 9th grade team, we had a lot of guys flying under the radar, but our best player on the 9th grade team was AJ Ville. He's about 6'3", goes to Westwood. He's a sophomore now, and he's going to be probably a starter for Westwood this year. I mean, he's a stud, big, strong, athletic, finish around the rim. He was our best player outright on that 9th grade team. And we had just a lot of kids flying under the radar. Like, they're not no big time names or nothing like that. They're not ranked like that in the state, but they play hard. They're good kids. They work hard. Like Oliver Coleman, he's at Lugoff. David Cole at Spring Valley. Dylan Hill, Blythewood. Braden Mack, Ridgeview. Justin Harris, Lugoff. It's so many kids. Like, we get a lot of diamond in the rough kids. You know, we don't get because the really, really good players are going to go to 3SSB, right? And then you had Middleton this year. You got Carolina Pressure. You got Team USC. You got PCH. You got so many teams in Columbia. It's so spaced out. So, we got a lot of just under the radar kids.
Let me ask you this. Not to cut you off, but let me ask you this. I've seen what you guys have at Ridgeview.
Right.
You guys have by far the most talented team in the state of South Carolina in terms of basketball. It's probably you'd go 1, and then the next team would be like number 3. It's not even a 2 in terms of talent.
Right.
How difficult? And I don't know how all these kids get over there. I'm just kidding. How difficult is it? How difficult is it to go from coaching that kind of talent to coaching kids who just really want to grind it, and not to say your kids don't, because I've seen you guys play. You don't play at Ridgeview if you're not a grinder, because you won't get on the court. But in terms of talent level, how difficult is it for you to coach, kids who are a little bit different in terms of talent level versus what you coach at Ridgeview on a daily basis?
That's a great question, because like I tell the kids like that I coach with Columbia that I can't turn it off. I can't turn it off. Like, I can't coach the Ridgeview kids one way and then coach y'all one way. It's the same way. So it's the same intensity, the same way we fuss at the kids at Ridgeview, the same way we demand stuff out of them. I'm demanding the same stuff out of these other kids. And it's hard for them because they're not used to the demand. So no disrespect to any other high school coach, but it's a little bit different. So, it might be a kid at a different school who's not used to having the demands that I might demand of you. I might really demand that you got to play defense. You got to sit down in the stance and guard. At his high school, they might not ask him to do it as much. So it's tough. It's an adjustment for both of us, but it helps me as a coach because I can balance it. And, but the kids at Ridgeview, like, they all grinders. So they all work crazy hard. That's what I tell people. Like, I tell people, the kids at Ridgeview are talented and they work hard. So it's not
What
like
they
just rely
don't
on
have any
talent.
choice. Because whoever's behind them is probably just as good. So
Yeah. It's consistent. It's consistent competition. Like it's fun to see. Like we got a basketball class, and yesterday I was in there, watching them play and stuff, man. And they're gonna be so fun to watch this year. This year gonna be the one to watch. This gonna be the year to watch. Last year we were really good.
Yeah, y'all better this year. Y'all better this year.
Yeah.
You guys need 40 minutes this year. You don't need 32. Y'all need an extra 8 minutes, man. But anyway, keep talking about the rest of these guys from the summer.
Yeah, man. So I'm gonna try to. It's a lot because it's 5 teams. So we had a like a 2026 team that kind of played up. So we had 2 11th grade teams, and the outright guy on that team was DeMarcus Thomas at Westwood. He jumped in the Prep Hoops rankings from number 90 to 15. And I mean, rankings don't mean much, but for him, that's big because that's big for his confidence. For him to be ranked number 90 a year ago,
it means something if you're in the top 10.
You know what I'm saying? Like he had a really good summer, but DeMarcus Thomas was one. Jaden Cruz from Westwood, Talon Staley was on that team. Jaden Gerald, he's at Marion. He's going to be a tough player. Justice Bell from Dutch Fork, he could be special. He's about 6'5". He's like a Swiss Army knife, play inside, play outside. He could be special. MJ, point guard at Blythewood. He started point guard at Blythewood. He started last year, played varsity as a freshman. He's from up north. He's tough. He's electric. So those are just some names on that team.
Can I stop you 1 second, Coach Sav?
Yeah.
Lost Letterman. We just talk about players, man. It's it is what it is. Okay. Let me Staley, and this has nothing to do with his father.
Okay.
Man, that kid has something special about him.
Yeah.
And they're only 2. He reminds me so much of. He actually reminds me a lot of Kerry when he played in that Kerry Rich. He gets to it. He gets to his business, man. Right when he checks it, because I saw him play as a freshman, and then I saw him play again this past summer. Like when he gets in, because he doesn't even start. Well, he doesn't start on the Ridgeview team, and I haven't seen him play AAU. But man, when he gets in, he impacts the game right off the bat. And it's not a whole lot of thrills and all that. He gets right to his back. I kind of microwave. Something is going to happen when that kid gets in the game. So talk a little bit about his game.
Yeah. He's definitely a microwave type player. You know what I'm saying? Like he's always been confident though. So when he was in 7th grade, I watched him play a lot at Kelly Mill, a lot because that was the COVID year. I was at South Florence at the time, but we weren't playing. And Kelly Mill, the schools in District 2 were still playing. So when he was in 7th grade, he was electric then. He was getting buckets and hitting threes and getting to the floater. He was doing that then. So I think now he's growing into his body. He's understanding the game a little bit better. And I mean, he puts a ton of work in too. Like he works his butt off. He's always in the gym working in the morning, working on his shot. So he's a grinder, man. He's really locked in. So like this year, watching, like coaching him, a lot of kids listen to music before the games and stuff. Like everybody got their headphones in, they listening to the whatever. He don't listen to no music before the game. Like he just be dribbling the ball, locked in. And I asked him one day, I'm like, you don't listen to music? He like, nah, I don't listen to music like that. So he just locked in. Like he's not a silly player. He's straight business. So
it's crazy looking at him and just preconceived notions. When you look at him, you think he might have, but he's serious, man. You see, when I looked at him, I was like, he's coach's son, whatever. But he is really serious, and he takes the game serious. And much respect to him because he's playing with Yale and Corey. He don't have any choice. So he's playing with those dudes every day. So he's got to earn those minutes that he gets. But, keep going and talk about some other players.
Okay, yeah. But Tal tough, though. Tal going to have a good year this year, too. He growing into his body. He like 6'1" now. He long, like he's growing. So last year it was like 5.
Hey, tell the coach he got to get him more minutes, man. Keep going.
Hey, man. Hey, listen, me and Staley was talking today. We were just texting. We was talking about like like subbing in rotations, and he was like, dudes got to earn their rent every day. They got to work. Like, ain't nothing guaranteed. Like, it ain't like right now. There's no starters. You know, of course, the kids talking and stuff like that. Of course, you know, you got Corey, stuff like that, and you know, you got kids that talk like, oh, this who should start or that who should start. But you know, in Staley's mind, there's no starters right now. Everybody got to earn it every day. So, you know, practice be fun though. Practice be fun.
I could play for Coach Staley, man. I don't like that.
hey, listen. Practice be fun. Like Kenny Hunter, Coach Sanders, me, right. Smitty, Reggie. Like, we just be talking shit to each other, man. It's crazy. Like Kenny, some days me and Kenny will go at it. Like, and it ain't personal, but we'll do it to get them to go at it. You know what I'm saying? Right. And one time me and him had to stop because it got too crazy. But yeah, some other kids, man. We had a 2025 team. Like I said, we had 2 17 and under teams. So Tyson Ray from Chapin, right. Really good player, flying under the radar. Like, I don't get it.
Let's stay there with Tyson. Because I mean, Tyson has some good size. Man, for a point guard, you couldn't ask for better size than he's about 6'3", 6'4", maybe.
Yep, 6'3". Yep, 6'3", long, wiry, fast.
What do you think is keeping him from taking that next step? Because to me, I saw him last year, and I wish he would be more aggressive. And I guess that was a year ago. I would assume that he's been more aggressive, but he was a sophomore at that time. So what do you think is keeping him from taking the next step?
Yeah, just aggressive, consistent aggressiveness. Like, he can do it. Like, there was a tournament in Atlanta this past summer, and I mean, he was going crazy. Probably had about 17 points in the first half, just dominating against good competition. And, you know, it's just not consistent. Some days he'll be there as a scorer, and then some days he'll just make the right play. He'll just be a point guard, and he'll get his teammates the ball, and he'll dish it. So he has to have somebody that keeps the battery in his back. Like, if he has a coach that's going to, like, Tyson, you got to, like, every time he passed up something, you got to, hey, Tyson, you got to go score it. Like, if you stay on him, he'll do it. But that's something that he got to already have. Yeah. He has to understand that. And I think this year at Chapin, he'll do it. It's his senior year. His confidence is there. I think this year he'll break out. Like, he'll average close to 20 points this year. You know what I mean? But he should have been doing that last year.
You know what? And people get on me about this, but I don't necessarily think Yale Davis is the best point guard in South Carolina. Okay. But his motor is so different than anybody else's that he won't settle for anything less than he's going to impose his will on you. And that's what when you look at him play, that jumps off the screen. So that's that motor, and I wish the other kids had that. Everybody can't have that, but sometimes you got to bring him back down a little bit. I'd much rather a person you got to bring down than one you got to bring up. But much respect, and Tyson's a great player, and he's going to get to what he's going to get to. But that size, man, that 6'4" frame or 6'3" frame is a huge advantage for him.
And to speak on Yale being the best point, like, I don't really like saying that no more because there's so many talented kids. Like, I can't just say somebody is the best. Like, I like to say they're one of the best. I don't like to say you're the best. So Yale is one of the best point guards, definitely. His handle is elite. It's natural. He has a natural handle. Like you said, his motor, he defends, he electric. You know what I'm saying? But I can't sit here and say that Yazir Cromer isn't a really good point guard as well. I can't sit here and say that Jordan Wofford isn't a really good point guard at what he does too. And even the kid from Powdersville, I can't remember his name, but he played in the state championship. He was an animal in the state championship game. You know what I'm saying? So, man, there's so many good players. I don't like to label it like that, but Yale he's very tough, especially his on-ball defense and just his natural ability. He has some stuff that you can't teach. Like, you can't go to the gym and work on it. He just got it.
I agree with you. You can't say that, but I will. He's the best point guard in South Carolina. So who else is, in my opinion, who else is on that? Who else was running with you this summer that you want to give props to? Because I definitely know that we got to talk about Deron. and Yasir, because Yasir, I love Yasir to death as well,
And
as
see,
well as Tyson.
And see, I'm gonna break that. So it was like two different teams. So we had a 17 and under Upward Stars Columbia group that Tyson was on, and then we had a gold team that Dunbar and Yazir was on. But we'll touch on that because I want to give a shout out to Austin Glasgow. That's at Dreer. He 6'4", 6'5", great size. He's gonna have a great year. Jeremiah Brooks. I had a kid from Greenwood play this year for us. He's electric. He can shoot the crap out the ball. He's athletic. Jeremiah Brooks out of Greenwood. He'll probably be an all-state player this year, 6-foot guard. Xavier Johnson from Crestwood. He's going to be a 2-year starter at Crestwood at the guard spot. Riley Durant, Crestwood. Blake Wilson, River Bluff. Blake, I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm going to give Blake his credit. Blake Wilson is one of the hardest. See, I said one of the hardest. He's one of the hardest playing players in the state. Blake Wilson plays extremely hard, man. He goes to River Bluff. He plays really hard. He gives you second possessions galore. Like, he's an offensive rebounder. He'll turn the ball over and sprint back and get a back tap. Man, I love coaching that kid. That kid is a winner. He's a warrior. He's worked his butt off to be a player. Last year, he was just okay, nervous, shy. But, man, I'm telling you, like, I just wish people could see it. He's an undersized player, so his recruitment is going to be low. Like, that Columbia team has a lot of Division II players, JUCO, Division III type kids. And he'll go somewhere. But, man, I'm telling you, that kid balls to the wall, man. I done seen a lot of basketball in South Carolina. I ain't seen too many kids play harder than that boy right there. And that's just facts. Like, that's just facts.
Playing hard is a skill.
Man, listen, and it's crazy because he's not the most athletic. It's just his want to. He want to play hard. He wants to get the ball and get the ball back and stuff. It's crazy, man. But those are the kids, man, that, I really respect throughout our program. We had a really good program this year. Like, we had a good program every year. We started in 2017, and we've been rolling since, man. So, I love all the kids that play for us, the coaches. Much respect to them for sacrificing their time, parents, for trusting the program. Because, like I said, there's many programs they could play for. They can go to Team USC. They can go to PCH, Pressure, Rebels. I ain't say that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm appreciative of every kid and parent that chose to play with Upward Stars Columbia, because most people try to downplay us because we're not 3SSB. So kids that get cut from 3SSB and say, "Oh, I ain't playing with y'all. Y'all sorry, y'all." But hey, kids are going to school, kids going to college. Kids are getting better. They're having good high school seasons. So you can say what you want to say, but the proof in the pudding. We're a solid program. So yeah.
Before we start talking about the other players, I want to give you your flowers and the rest of the coaches their flowers. And I know you talk about Rob and Coach McCray and all you guys, man.
Yeah.
It's a labor of love doing that.
Yeah.
Every day being in the gym, and I don't even know what it takes. driving from here to there, and I'm sure there's not a whole lot of thank yous. Thank you. I'm sure there's some, but there are not as many thank yous as probably there should be. So, man, much respect to you for all you do. That it really doesn't get recognized. Not that you do it for the recognition, because if you did do it for the recognition, you'd have quit a long time ago. So much respect to you.
I appreciate that. Thank you
for what you do, man.
Thank you. But yeah, the last team I'm gonna touch on. I'm gonna touch on the gold team because I ended up coaching them. I ended up being the head coach for them in July because their coach was Yusef English that got the Wilson job. And once he got the job at Wilson, he had to step away because he just wanted to kind of focus on the Wilson. So I stepped in. So we had a gold team that was kind of a branch off from the 3SSB team. So you had 3SSB and then you had gold. They practiced together. And that team was really talented. We played on the gold circuit, similar to what Team USC did with the EYCL. Very similar. We didn't make it to the finale. We went 7-1. So we didn't get we had to go 8-0 in our pool, and we went 7-1. So we didn't make it to the Adidas championships. But I mean, that team was loaded with other kids flying under the radar. Yazir Cromer was the head of the snake. Deron Dunbar out of North Augusta. Those two kind of led our team just in scoring and
I can only imagine what it was like having Yasir, and he's a point. He's a point, at least to me.
Yes.
If you put Yasir with really good players, man, that guy. But if you put him on a team where he's the best, like you want him to score a lot, it's probably not gonna. It's probably not gonna look the same. But if you put him with Deron and if you put him with a Porsche, man, he's gonna make that Porsche go. So. Talk a little bit about Yasir and the maturation that you saw in him this summer playing with Deron.
I'm gonna tell you something, man. I've been coaching Yazir since 8th grade, man. Yazir has literally played for me since 8th grade. He came to us, young. Albert Miller, rest in peace. He's the guy from Newberry that put me on to Yazir. And as soon as he put me on to Yazir, he passed away like 2 weeks later. It was crazy. Wow. But, man, it was crazy. He's out of Newberry, Albert Miller. People in Newberry know who he is because Yazir's dad is from Newberry. So, Yazir, that's where his ties is. But Yazir's been a special player since then. In 8th grade, he was a natural talent, a natural facilitator. He could pass the ball, great feel for the game. I've watched him. I mean, he was chubby in 8th grade. He was chubby. He changed his body though from 8th grade to his junior year. He changed his body. He got cut up. And just to see his growth over the years has been special. And he's just a natural player. He's natural. Like he has natural ability. Not saying he doesn't work hard because he does, but there's just some things that he do that's just off his field for the game. Like, he's dribbling the ball up the court with his right hand, and he's looking at you on the opposite corner like cut. And he's not saying it, but he's just looking at you like cut. And as soon as you cut, he's going to hit you with the back door. So he's just a really good floor general, point guard, and just a special player. Like it's so many kids in our program and all across the state, but in our program specifically, that's just flying under the radar. Like, they deserve more attention. College coaches should be recruiting them, but they just not. But yeah, Yazir is really good.
I'm sorry. Talk a little bit about Deron Dunbar. Obviously, we're really close with Deron. So talk about the kind of summer that he had with Garcia.
He had a great summer, man. I mean, Dunbar was.
Were you surprised that you were actually able to get him playing on the team?
A little bit, yeah, because I actually coached Deron in 9th grade because Deron did not make the 3SSB team in 9th grade. He got cut. So he was on the CSRA team in Augusta, the regional team, and he was killing. And we ended up bringing him up to the 3SSB team towards the end of the summer. So I got a chance to coach Deron when he was in 9th grade. And, I mean, he was an athlete and a shooter then. So he's just developed over the years. He developed his body. He's gotten stronger. I was shocked to get him because he was a 3SSB kid at the end of 9th grade and in 10th grade, and things didn't work out for him. So, most kids would have, they would have quit us. Most kids would have quit. They would have went to a different program. Bump upward. They not da-da-da. But he stayed loyal to the program. He trusted the process, and he came and still played on the gold team, and he was the best player on that team. I mean, he's a shooter. He's a lights-out shooter. That's what from this summer, even though I coached him in 9th grade, seeing him this year, I realized how good of a shooter he really is. Like, he could shoot the piss out the ball. And he going to get on that rim every fast break he gets. He's going to get out there and he going to punch it.
He liked it. He liked that rim.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
I actually think that sometimes, I never had this problem, but sometimes that jump shot could be your detriment too. Because you see a few go in, and next thing you know, you're just out on that three-point line the whole night instead of getting down there and banging. But I mean, it is what it is. Deron is a hell of a player, and I think his best days are ahead of him. Keep going. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and that's something that we talked about this summer. Like, while I was coaching him, like especially during the live period, we were in Raleigh, North Carolina during live period, and there was one game where he was struggling. He wasn't making anything, and I pulled him to the side. I said, don't shoot yourself out of it. Like, you're going to shoot yourself out of it because you're hoping that it just dropped. It dropped, but your legs are dead. It ain't dropping. So now you got to do other things. Now you got to go playmaking. Now you got to go
Right.
defend. Now you got to go rebound. But I think that's something he really needs to work on, though. Like just attacking the rim, straight line, driving it, getting to the basket, playing off two, finishing through contact. I mean, if he can do that on top of his shooting, he's unguardable. But like you just said, sometimes he will kind of fade and just kind of shoot the three and hope that it dropped. But he's a dog, though. He's a dog.
God gave him a blessing. He gave him a hell of a body and gave him a body early. You know,
And he young.
You gotta use that body, man.
And he young, bro. He young.
Yeah.
He just turned 17, I believe.
Right.
Like he not 18, so he young.
Right.
Like, you know, so that make it even crazier. I mean, that's for all these kids. Like hit like Deron with that body, and you telling me he just turned 17 is crazy.
His best days are ahead of him. His best days are definitely ahead.
Yeah. His sophomore year in college is probably when when it's gonna click. Like he gonna get it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah.
So who else on that team do you want to recognize a little bit?
Man, I'm a show love to everybody.
I know.
I'm gonna show love to Reggie Mack. He was another point guard that played at Ridgeview, real heady point guard. He was a leader, like just a leader with his voice and stuff like that. CJ Terrell out of Greenwood, he's a sleeper. 6'7", long block shots. I mean, he's a dog, man. Like CJ Terrell is one of the best bigs in the state. Like he a player that I ain't gonna say he the best because it's a lot of good players, but CJ Terrell was awesome this summer. His motor is ridiculous. Trey Smith from Ridgeview, Malachi Cooper from Ridgeview. So I got a chance to coach Reggie, Malachi, and Trey, and those are the three seniors that's going to be at Ridgeview. I got a chance to coach them this summer. So, Malachi's another one, under the radar, shooter, length, 6'3". Shit, might be 6'4" now. Jarius Davis, South Florence, 6'4", 6'5" wing. Lennox Valerie, South Florence, 6'4" wing. And I've been knowing Lennox since he's been a seventh grader because when I was the head coach at South Florence at the time, Lennox was a seventh grader. So I've seen Lennox Valerie grow up from seventh grade to where he is now. So to be able to coach him his last year at AAU and see him as a seventh grader back in Florence, South Carolina, it's just crazy. I know I'm missing somebody too, man. Ethan Mays from Lower Richland, about 6'5", played in this. I think LR made it to the state championship. He was the starter, number 30 for them. He's a banger, bruiser, rebounder, just a dog. You know what I mean? But I had a really good team. That was a really solid team. It's just they only had 1 year together or one summer, so the chemistry was off sometimes. We only lost about 5 games. But the games we lost were because chemistry. It was because they were still trying to learn each other because you got every kid on that team is a starter for their high school. Every kid on that team except like the ones from Ridgeview because they got to, scrap for theirs. But every other kid is a starter. They're used to being the man. Shannon Davis from Crestwood. I knew I was leaving somebody. He wasn't all state last year, but he should have been. 6'2" guard. And see, Shannon Davis was a kid that struggled a little bit because he was used to being the guy. And he had to share the load with Dunbar and Yazir. And I mean, he's used to playing with Yazir because we played together last year. But it was tough for him. You know what I mean? So he didn't have the best summer, but he's one of the best combo guards in the state. He's top 20 in the state, 2025. And it was a very talented team. I love that group. So yeah, I mean they'll all go to college. They'll all either go Division I, D2, D3. So it was a great team.
And thanks for that rundown. Let me ask you a question. Say I'm not a parent, but say I'm a kid. I'm a sophomore. I'm not Nike. I'm not on the Nike circuit. I'm not on is it 3SB circuit?
Yep, 3SSB.
I'm not on that 3SSB. I still want to get to college.
Mm-hmm.
I do my thing in high school. What's my path to get to college? What do I need to do to get to college?
So you got
That's 90% of the guys.
Yes, yeah. So number one, you got to have grades. Number one thing.
I'm assuming that's okay, but
but a lot of kids that's not on the circuit, because if you're on the circuit, you're guaranteed to play in front of college coaches during the live period.
Right.
You're guaranteed. Like it's no like it ain't no if and buts about it. Our 3SSB 17s playing in front of 80 coaches, Division 1. 15s playing in front of 20. 16s playing in front of 30, 40. It's guaranteed. When you're independent, it ain't guaranteed. It ain't guaranteed that you're gonna play.
I'm gonna take the intangibles out. I'm assuming that you got grades. I'm assuming that you a decent character. I'm just taking the basketball. How do I get to where I think I want to get to?
You gotta do all the little things great. Because that's the only way you're gonna stand out. Because if you're playing in front of, because it's minimum. So if you're playing in front of 10, 11 coaches versus 30, your chances are smaller. So now you got to do the little things better to stand out. You got to be able to shoot the ball. To me, that's the number one thing right now every college coach wants. If you can't shoot it, if you can't space the floor, it's going to be tough for you to play at the next level. Your body has to be developed. You got to look like a college basketball player. You can be a good player, but if your body doesn't look the part, the coach is going to be skeptical to take you. So to me, I'm big on the little things, talking, playing with a high motor, communication, defending. You have to do the little things well just for them to say, who is that? Because it's not all about scoring. Everybody thinks you have to score your way into an offer. It's not true. If you can do intangibles, if you can do the little things really well, and on top of that, you can score, you can shoot the three, or you can facilitate really well, then that'll make you stand out even more. So I just think, doing the little things at a high level is how you're going to get looked at when you're an independent player, because your chances are smaller. Your chances
I gotta take that. I gotta take independent player.
Yeah, you're an independent guy. So even if you're playing in front of the big schools, you still got to do those little things well. But like I said, your chances are slimmer when you're only playing in front of 10, 11 versus 30, 40. So doing those little things to me and being able to shoot the ball, that's what I spend a lot of time on in my workouts, getting a lot of shots up, shooting the ball, helping guys, be comfortable shooting threes and stuff. Because, if you look at the NBA right now, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for length. They're looking for shooters. They're looking for defenders. That's what they want.
That's a good point, and thanks, independent player. I'm gonna actually keep that. I'm gonna use that. So with that being said, it seems like what you just said is, if I am an independent player, I need to take every opportunity that I have. I need to respect that like it's a job interview.
Every single one.
Every time you step on the court, regardless of where it is, because you never know who's in there. You have to treat it like a job interview. Yep. How frustrating is it for you as a coach? And again, we're talking about 15, 16, 17-year-old kids. How difficult is it for you, or frustrating is it for you as a coach, to be able to see potential in somebody, but they're not taking it as serious as probably they should? And how thin that line is, because to steal your words, when you're an independent player, coaches can go right to somebody else to get that same thing. How frustrating is it for you? Or do you ever see where you see more potential in the kid than they see in themselves?
Very, very. It's very frustrating. I got ejected from a game in Raleigh because I was frustrated with my team. And I tried to send a message to my team by getting ejected, because we're playing, because like I just said, minimum opportunity. We're playing a team, All Carolina. All Carolina is a good independent program. We're playing in front of 7 or 8 college coaches. This is the gold team with Dunbar and Yazir. And we came out flat. They acted like they didn't want to play. We're down almost 15, 17 points in the first 4 or 5 minutes of the game. and I lost my cool. I lost my cool on the ref, but after I got ejected, I turned around and looked at the bench, and I just went off on him. So I'm like, yeah, like I just went off. So and I ended up getting ejected, but it's frustrating because these kids don't get it. They don't like. I'm younger than you, but they don't have the opportunities that they're getting more opportunities that you didn't have, that I didn't have. Like they have so many more chances and opportunities, and they take it for granted. Like they don't play with an edge. Like I need this, I want like this, I gotta have it. They don't play like that. They just too cool. So it's very frustrating because me and my coaching staff, we see the potential in the kids. I'm gonna just say his name because I talked to his dad a lot. Justice Bell from Dutch Fort, the kid I named. Justice Bell has all the tools to be a special player, but sometimes he wants to play, sometimes he don't. And it's so inconsistent. It's like, dude, you're 6'5", you play above the rim, you can shoot the 3 ball, you can play inside, you can play outside, you can literally do everything. But because he has a low motor sometimes and he doesn't always bring it, it's just frustrating. It's like how bad do you want it? So it's very frustrating. And me and the parents talk all the time about it. So that's why I feel comfortable saying his name, because me and his dad talked about it time and time again. So yes, very frustrating, but we do the best I can to try to keep him leveled. And as a coach, sometimes you got to remind yourself, I can't want it more than you, and that's just, it is what it is.
That leads me to my next question. I hate to ask this question. I'm gonna get you out of here because I don't want to take all your time. But have you ever seen? And this is a question for parents too.
Okay.
Have you ever seen a kid with a low motor raise his motor for a consistent time period? Or does it always? They might raise it for a minute, then it goes right back to. Have you ever seen a kid change their motor and just be like a totally different person? Have you ever seen it? Because I've seen kids who have high motors and you can dial it back a little bit. But I don't think I've ever seen anybody with a low motor that just increased it.
Yeah,
that didn't go right back down.
Oh yeah, I seen that this summer. I mean, these kids are different now. They're not. These kids aren't. They don't always bring it. Like, but I've seen it. I've seen it, man. I've seen a low motor kid, and I'm not gonna say his name, but I've seen a low motor kid that will show a spurt of his high motor. He will get an offensive rebound putback, defensive rebound sprint the floor, and then a couple possessions later, he'll get blown by defensively.
That's my point. Have you ever seen anybody sustain it? Like go from low to high and sustain being a high?
No, I don't think so. And I might think about it later, and I might.
I've never seen it either.
I don't think I never seen a. I'm trying to think. Like I don't think I ever seen a low motor kid go from low to high and then it stay high. Like I can't think of one, because eventually it's going to come back down. Maybe, I don't know. I don't think I ever seen one. I can't.
If you're thinking that hard, it hasn't happened yet.
Listen, and I'm thinking about all type of kids too. I'm thinking about all the kids that I ever coached. Maybe Brian Sparks, a kid I coached at South Florence. He was my best player, my first, second best player. He played at Johnson C. Smith. He a teacher now, but maybe him. Because when I met him, because when I got the job at South Florence, I was kind of changing the program because I was coming from Ridgeview. And I won't say he was a low motor, but he wasn't very confident in himself. He didn't really know that he could be a college player. And he went from unknown, almost quitting basketball, to having a breakout senior year, and then he got a full ride to Johnson C. Smith. And now he got his college degree, and he a teacher now. And we still talk all the time. But he might be the only one that, and I won't even say he had a low motor, but he had low self-esteem, low confidence. And he went from low confidence to college basketball player in 8 months.
I
the
think
only
low
one.
confidence is different than a low motor. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. Shout out to Brian Sparks. You are one out of a million.
I'm gonna send him this too. I'm gonna text him tonight. I'm gonna be like, boy, I said your name tonight, boy. I said your name, dog. I said your name, dog. For real.
Oh my goodness! But I would, I jokingly say that, but it's always to me, it's hard. I've never seen anybody with a low motor. I've seen people with low confidence, and then once they start gaining success, I've seen them get more confidence. But I've never seen somebody who, like you could be good and have a low motor.
Right.
I've never seen anybody with a low motor just automatic, jump up there with high motor and then sustain it. Because it's hard. It's hard to stay at that. It's hard to stay at that level. You know what I mean?
That's a good question. I'm gonna ask.
But that's why
Staley
you're the
tomorrow.
coach and I'm not.
I'm gonna ask Staley tomorrow. I'm gonna ask him because he's been coaching.
Oh, you can't have a low motor player with Richview. You cannot have a low motor player with Richview.
He might have somebody from AC Florida though. He might have an AC Florida player. He might have an AC Florida player. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, I got one more Richview. I got one Richview question, and then we're gonna get out of here.
All right.
And I want to have all you guys on, actually, the whole staff, because it's something special that you guys have over there at Ridgeview, and it's not just about Coach Staley. I guess he's the leader, but it's beyond him with you. And I don't even know the other gentleman's name. I wish I did. Skinny guy. Sanders.
Yep.
You're like an
B-Mo.
army. And Coach Hunter. Actually, I want one of those shirts. I want one of those purple shirts. But my question is the intensity that you guys bring, and I talked to Dion about this. When you guys didn't play them last year, I always go back to. I said, that game, Ridgeview against. I'm gonna ask Coach Staley this when he comes on, because he is gonna come on. He doesn't know it yet, but I'm gonna get him on here. I said, Gray versus Ridgeview last year. I'm gonna ask you the question since he's not on.
All right.
I always tell Dion, I say, you know what? We always talk about, who would have won that game.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, Gray definitely had more talent than Ridgeview last year.
Mm-hmm.
There's no doubt about that, at least in my mind. It's just my opinion. They have more talent than Ridgeview.
Okay.
But Ridgeview wins that game off emotion. They're going to punch you in the face the first 3 or 4 minutes of that game. They're going to punch you in the face. And you got to be able to sustain. You got to be able to get back to the corner and be able to keep playing. And most teams are not going to be able to keep playing. So I guess my question is just a long-ass-winded way of saying that. How did you guys create that culture? And maybe it might have been there before you guys got there. I didn't follow the program before that. But you guys have created a culture that, man, Yale, Corey, you got Horton. It's Staley in there. A lot of guys that I'm not even naming their names. Everybody who comes in with a certain intensity. And you guys coach with that intensity. You don't even need to look at the scoreboard because the coaching is the same. And you can't even really tell who the head coach is because it's just all intensity. And that's where I think you guys really are like 5 to 10 points ahead of teams before you even tip the ball up, because they're not. The only other team I've seen do that is Lancaster. They get you with that intensity too. That intensity too. So I guess this is a really long question to say, man. How did you guys get that? I mean, is it just something in practice? But how did you guys cultivate that intensity within the program?
I'm gonna be honest. The culture was built years ago. Ridgeview has always been a school with talented players. It's always been like that. But I think when Coach Stoneman got there, 2016, 17, when he started, winning the state championships, I think that's when the culture started then. So it's banners in the gym. So when you like a Yale and a Corey, you a freshman, you walk into Ridgeview gym, you look up, it's 3 state championship banners up there. So like, naturally, you're going to be like, I want one. I want to win the ring. So I think that's kind of how the culture was built. And I think Staley has done a great job of sustaining it and coming into Ridgeview and just, I mean, it's just like a connect. Like he understands what the culture is at Ridgeview. But his staff has been with him for a while at AC Floor, so he has a great chemistry with his staff. This was my first year working with. It's not my first year at Ridgeview, but it was my first year working with Staley on his staff, and it kind of is just it's a family, it's a bond, and everybody enjoys each other, everybody feeds off each other, and honestly, me, Kenny, and Sanders we've been head coaches before. Like Kenny has been an assistant at Florida, but Kenny has been coaching for years. Like Kenny's he an OG out here. So, and Sanders was the head coach at Columbia High and Fairfield, if I'm not mistaken. So just think about that. You basically got 3 head coaches on top of your head coach. So we locked in every day.
And he lets you guys coach, you know.
He let us go. He don't hold nobody back. He don't, and everybody got a job too. Like everybody has a job. Like it ain't just all over the place. I handle one thing, Kenny handles one thing, Sanders handles one thing, and we all work together. So you know, Sanders, and I love Sanders because Sanders is the same every freaking day. Like he come in every day straight face. Like I ain't never seen him smile in practice. And nah, he hold everybody accountable. Like he holds everybody accountable on that team, especially the bigs. Like he works with the bigs. So he holds the bigs accountable. They got to put in extra work. If they not rim running, he on their butt. They got to seal the right way. He'll get out there and show them. He'll get out there and sit in the post and show them. His intensity right there motivated me because I'm like, okay, shit, he doing that, so I got to be on one. And I think now he bring that intensity. I'm bringing intensity. Kenny gonna bring intensity, right? Smitty, the JV coach, he's gonna bring intensity. He bringing energy. So it's just like we just work together, and we all bonded with each other outside of basketball. So I think that's what made our bond even better on the court. We all had the same goal. Like me and Kenny would talk and have side conversations. Like I'm gonna tell you something. Kenny called me 3 weeks before the Chick-fil-A Classic. He said, "Hey Sab, I'm looking at the bracket. If we beat River Bluff, we got John Marshall. If we beat John Marshall, we got Grayson. So let's go ahead and start watching film now." Kenny did that shit. So Kenny called me and was like, "Yo, let's go ahead and start watching film now." So we was 2 weeks ahead of Grayson and John Marshall. They probably wouldn't even think about us, but we was already thinking about them. So I was already telling the kids like, boy, John Marshall, boy, them boys, they can go. Me and Kenny don't watch film already. So it's just, we bond, we connect. We all got one goal. We want to win. We want rings. That's all. No coaches is like got an ulterior motive. We all want to win. So we all work together. Kenny will come tap me on the shoulder. "Hey, Sav, we got to get such and such back in the game. We might need to do such and such." Sanders one of the bigs might mess up. Sanders said, "Man, get him out the game, coach. Get him," you know what I'm saying? And we just work together. And Staley just coaches. Staley coaches the game, and we manage everything else on the bench. We manage the attitudes. Somebody come out the game and they upset, we'll take turns. Like if Yale mad, I'll look at Kenny. Kenny, you want to talk to Yale? You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like talking to him. So sometimes Jaden Pretty have an attitude, and then, hey, who turn is it this time? You gonna go talk to him? I'll go talk to him. Like, you know, we just work together. Like, I'm excited. I'm glad you brought that up because I'm excited to get back on the sideline with them guys because it's fun. It's so fun. Like, I love it. We just got a bond, for real.
You didn't answer my question though.
What was the question?
Well, I guess I didn't ask it. You think you guys would have beat Gray last year?
Oh, I answered that. Yes, I do. I definitely do. Like, I ain't gonna go too much in it. I'm not. I'll let you talk to Staley. But I definitely think we would have beat Gray. I think they was talented. Braylon, Ellis, Darius Carr, LJ Quan, Trey Maddox. They had a squad. But I just think our style of play, and like you said, the emotion, and just the way we play, we would have just been gritty. Like, we would have been up in them. and they were good. They were talented, but I think we would have beat them. I mean, I think a lot of people knew that too. But the city wanted to see that. You know what I'm saying? And it sucked that we ain't play. And I ain't gonna say nothing crazy, but the city was mad. Like I went straight to Facebook and was like, and I was like, God damn, they on our they're like, Ridge, you ducking smoke. And then I'm gonna tell you what made it worse. What made it worse was we played Westwood and lost the first game of the season. So that made it even worse, bro. Like, so now it's like everybody trashing us for not playing great, and then we turn around and lose to Westwood, and then that's what people wanted to see. So then I was reading some comments, and people was like, yeah, that's what Ridgeview get. Westwood ain't scared, da-da-da. So I'm like, damn, like, it was stressful last year. Like, it wasn't peaches and cream, like being a nationally ranked team and having that record with all that talent. We had to deal with emotions, egos. Like, imagine the practice that we had the next day after we lost to Westwood. That practice was you would have thought somebody died, bro. It was terrible. Oh man, it was crazy. That was a crazy year, but we would have beat great. And I'm gonna say that with confidence. And Coach Bethea, I respect him to the highest. Great coach. We would have beat them boys. No lie.
Yeah, you guys would have beat Gray. As I said, in my opinion, this is all in my opinion. Gray had more talent, but Yale would have been Yale and the other point. It would have been really difficult for them to be able to withstand that pressure that Yale and the rest of those point guards would put on.
Yale, DJ Wiley,
right?
Corey, because like DJ Wiley,
that was their weak. That was their weak spot.
The depth. They wasn't really deep. So I mean, we was bringing DJ Wiley off the bench. DJ Wiley,
you know what? Even beyond that, the intensity of those guys, they would have taken it more personally. I think, man, those guys would have been ready to play, man. They would have been ready to play, man.
No, but I ain't gonna lie to you though. It wouldn't have been like no blowout. It wouldn't have been no we just stepping on it because we weren't even that type of team last year, bro. We couldn't really blow people out. We played River Bluff and almost lost. We couldn't blow people out. Like we couldn't blow out all the teams we should have blown out. We didn't. So, you know, it would have been a great game, but I just think our depth would have got into it. And then, like, I watched Gray a lot last year. No disrespect, but their style of play, it would have been easier for us to guard them because they didn't do a lot of action. You know what I mean? It wasn't
they didn't have the personnel to do it.
I mean, you know, they kind of just high ball screening and they put the ball in Braylon's hands and just they kind of relied on him to make decisions. And like, I think Corey would have owned up to that matchup, or Josh Smith. Josh Smith would have guarded him, and I think he would have did a great job. Corey would have. Now I trained Trey Maddox. I love Trey Maddox, but he wasn't involved in the offense a lot. You know, he was kind of off to the side, and I just think their style of play. And it's no disrespect to Coach Dion because and none of the coaches like I respect Dion like to the highest, but I watched him a lot. I'm a basketball head. I think their style of play would have been easier for us to guard. We would have been able to guard them.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, you didn't play the game, so kind of it is what it is. But much respect to Dion because at the end of the day, it's about getting your kids in college, and
that's what
he did. He did a hell of a job getting his kids in college. So it is what it is. But man, my last question, then you're out of here.
Okay.
2025. Man, you guys got a whole bunch of talent over there, but man, it's gonna be a lot going on. You're gonna have people boosting everybody's heads up, and you know, how cognizant are you guys trying to make sure you kind of keep? And I know a lot of it is gonna be handled within itself because you got, you know, so much talent over there that, you know, if somebody starts tripping, they'll be. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yep.
Yeah, there'll be another person that's going to take their place. But how aware is the coaching staff of just trying to make sure everybody's on the same page in 2025, and you know, making sure that everybody's got the same goal of winning that state championship? Because you know, especially we over here, we're gonna be tooting and making sure the kids get as much exposure as possible.
Yeah, I ain't gonna
One
lie, man.
of
Like,
the best.
yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Our coaches, they're gonna do a great job of keeping them boys in check. Kenny gonna
Right,
have them boys in check. Yale and Corey, he gonna have them boys locked in, and then they like each other. This team
right.
likes each other, like, and we're returning 8 guys, and Chris Horton and CJ Moore were on JV last year. They were in the program, so we technically only got one new player, like, and that's the RJ Davis. So, and we only got 3 seniors, so that's another positive. So we don't have 8 seniors, 7 seniors that's like looking over their shoulder, like, man, I gotta try to, they understand. Like, our seniors are good basketball players that want to win, and they like each other. So, our senior, like Reggie Mack, he a senior. He might come off the bench this year. He started 19 games last year, but he
Wow.
might come. He's probably going to come off the bench this year, but he's okay with that. He's not going to be mad about that. He's going to come into the games happy, high five his teammates.
Damn.
Malachi Cooper didn't start last year until the last 13 games. He was never upset that he wasn't starting. Never. Trey Smith, he's going to play hard regardless. So our seniors are going to do a good job of just being leveled. And then Corey and Yale, they're going to follow Talon. They're just good kids, man. And they've been playing with each other for a while. Like, a lot of people don't know this. Reggie, Corey, Tal, and Yale all played at Kelly Mill together. I was there. Yale and Corey was coming off the bench in the 7th grade. Can you believe that? Corey didn't start. It was the kids that started over him. He ended up moving to Crestwood now, but Corey didn't start as a 7th grader. So think about it. Yale, Tal, and Reggie have been playing together since they've been 12, 13 years old in middle school. Now they're juniors and seniors. It ain't no ill will. They've been watching each other grow up. And then DJ Wiley, quiet as a mouse. He just want to hoop. JT Van Callen, he another kid, another soft play with Team USC, stud. Don't get enough recognition. He ranked like number 12 or 13 in the state in his class. Those kids like each other. CJ Moore, RJ Davis, Reggie takes home RJ. That's the freshman and the senior. The chemistry is there. They love each other. They actually going running in the morning. So, they going running as a team. So they locked in, man. Them boys love each other. They love to play with each other. I don't never see them arguing or nothing. Like, it's just a balanced team, man. So our coaches and our players are going to keep each other level,
All right. Well, we're gonna do it as much as we can on this side to make sure they get the big head. But you guys make sure they stay level.
Hey, look, listen. So will all the guys that's doing highlights. All the guys.
Right.
Corey gonna have 100 mixtapes by the middle of the season. So you know what I'm saying? They gonna have it, man. You know what I'm saying?
As he should.
Corey gonna have 100 mixes. Yeah, gonna have it. You know what I'm saying? So we gonna do our job as coaches to make sure them boys locked in. But them boys already locked in though. Like Yale and Corey, like those guys already know. DJ Wiley,
right?
They hungry. They hungry. They know they're not arrived yet. They know they're good, but they know they got work to do, and we constantly let them know that. Because City of Palm said we wasn't good enough. So
well, and I'm going to talk to hopefully when we get Coach Staley on. I think there's another level there's another level. I don't think you guys are there yet, but there's another level. And we got to talk about that. We're going to talk about that with Coach Staley and all you guys, to be honest with you. Hopefully, we can get everybody on and we can kind of talk about Ridgeview 2024, 2025. But, man, much respect to you, Coach Savis. I'm sorry I kept you long. Much respect to Coach McCray for coming in, and much respect to Andrew Baxley, man. I know we're in football time, but, it's always good to kind of talk a little high
Yeah.
school hoops, man.
And and
So a
and
lot
I,
of
and I
time.
want to touch on this real quick before we go. I know we talked for a while, but
Yep.
we didn't really talk about Upward Stars 3SSB. And
Go ahead.
yeah, man, I listen.
My
Our
kids
three,
sleep. They don't. They don't care about it. Go
hey
ahead.
man, our 3SSB program, Curtis Willer and CL Butler and Sean Mims, those are three guys that brought me in back in 2016, 17, man, and they're great mentors to me. And they've been doing a great job for the state. And a lot of people have their own opinions about them and how they feel, but they've been doing a tremendous job, bro. Like being a part of Upward Stars has been fun. It's been a great experience. Getting the opportunity to coach on the circuit, to see what it's like at that level. Um, I heard Coach McCray saying that it's not close with Nike and stuff, and um,
Coach McCray he brought the fire, man. He brought
he
the
brought the
fire.
fire, but nothing against that. He entitled to his own opinion. So I mean, Nike is Nike, but Adidas, it's been great. It's been great watching because I don't just watch our players for Upward. I watch other players that's across the nation as well, man. And it's flooded with talent everywhere. They're good programs everywhere, and it's just been great. But CL Butler, Curtis Willer doesn't get enough credit, man. He's like it's
Yeah,
been
they
so
built
many
something special.
man. There's so many kids going Division I year after year from Upward Stars 3SSB. Like it's year after year after year after year, and it's a great program. Like it's no knock to anybody because there's a lot of great programs, but Upward Stars. I mean, if you just think about the 3SSB program and you think about Columbia, what I've been building, and Upward Stars PD. I mean, they've been consistently putting kids in college. Upward Stars Upstate has had plenty kids go to college. That's out of the Spartanburg, Greenville area. So it's a program and it's tremendous. And I was wanting to get them boys their flowers because me being 31 years old, those guys are older than me, and those are guys that brought me in and kind of taught me the game and taught me how to act and how to be professional and knowing what to respond to and knowing what not to respond to. And I mean, they just been great, and they're doing a good job of just running this program because we have a lot of top players in the state as well. A lot of our kids are getting recruited. As you can see, Josh Leonard is going to be a stud. He's coming up in the program, and it's a really, really good program, man. A lot of people say what they say, but I just wanted to touch on that because Upward Stars Columbia wouldn't be nothing without Upward Stars 3SSB. So those guys have been doing a great job, man. Sean Mims, Kurt, CL, they're doing great. You know what I mean? And it's fun. And they take care of me. They take care of the kids. And they put them in the best situations to be successful. So, I just wanted to give those guys their flowers.
Yeah, absolutely. Much respect to Upward Stars. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not in the AAU scene that intently, but I could just see it from afar. What they've created, and honestly, Nike, Adidas, New Balance, what Under Armour, Lost Letterman circuits. To me, it does. It's about the kids and them getting an opportunity, and that's what life is about. Give
Yeah.
me an opportunity. Now, what you
Yeah.
do with that opportunity, you can go on Nike circuit and be terrible. That don't
Yeah.
mean anything. Now, you can go kill on New Balance circuit, but just giving kids the opportunity, and it really kind of, as a parent, that's all they should be asking for is give my son and daughter an opportunity, and what they do with that opportunity is kind of on them. So much kudos to all of you guys for
Yes.
what nobody's kind of up here and up down there, but kudos to all you guys for everything you do because sometimes there's not a whole lot of thank yous at the end
Man,
of the
it's a lot. It's a lot of them, man. It's a lot of them in just the Columbia area, like Rod Rose,
Yeah.
Carolina Pressure. He's built that program ground up. Sam Gortman, PCH, built his program. Team USC. Them boys building their program,
Right.
doing a great job. The Carolina Rebels, they always done had talent. Like they've had, like Corey and them played with them. You know what I'm saying? Like they've always had players. KST, KS Ron White out there. He had a really good 2025 team. So everybody's doing their thing in the state. And I mean, like, it's crazy because like low key, everybody kind of, some people cool with each other, some people not. But at the end of the day, we really all in it for the same reason, and none of it matter. Like it don't matter if somebody
it's like the WWF.
No, it don't matter because like what we gonna do? Fight each other over basketball? Come on, if we really building these men, like we gotta start coming together with it. You know what I'm saying? Like I enjoy coaching the kids that play, like the Ridgeview kids, like DJ and JT, Chris Horton, play for Team USC. We won't even be talking about AAU. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm with Upward Heavy. They with Team USC Heavy. We don't talk about stuff like that. It's straight basketball. We have fun with each other. So,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just funny because I'm young, and at one point I thought it mattered, but it really don't matter. It don't matter.
If that stuff matters, if that's your main priority, you might want to check your priority list.
It don't matter, bro. It don't matter, bro. It don't matter if I beat them. It don't matter if they beat me. Like, yes, it's bragging rights, but at the end of the day, we all in it for the same reason. We all want the kids to get exposure, go to college, and be great young men. Because everybody won't go to college to play basketball. Most won't. Most won't. Like, it might be a kid that goes.
And most don't need to.
Yeah, for real. You know what I'm saying? Some kids are just really good high school players, or they might go play football, or they might go to the military. So, you know,
I think the beautiful thing about it too is, at least even from my vantage point, sometimes what AAU does is it exposes you to where you are, you know, and you can actually start playing and being like, you know, I'm not a college basketball player. You know, some kids have to have enough, and their parents have to have enough self-awareness to be like, you know, I practice hard. I just played against somebody who's way more talented than me. I'm not a college basketball player. I'm not going to do that in college. And to me, that's a gift too, because you understand that you might have to pivot off that. That's what life is about. Sometimes you got to pivot. Yeah. You might be a podcaster.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Exactly.
You might be a better podcaster than a basketball player. But anyway, Coach, I'm gonna get you out of here, man. But much respect to you, man, and thank you so much for taking your time. You know, we only disagreed on one thing, and you know, it's all good. If you say Yale is one of the best, I say he is definitely the best point guard in South Carolina. But other than that, man, it's all love to you, man.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate you, giving me an opportunity to come on here and speak, man. So I'm thankful for it. I appreciate you, and I mean, I love to, you get the Ridgeview coaches back on, man. I love to do that. We'll. I'm telling you, that'll be fun. We gotta get. I didn't say Chap. Chap is another one. Chap plays a big part too. Chris Levy, he does a great job, with the mental health and talking to the kids, and even.
God damn, y'all got a mental health coach too over
there. Mental health, bro. I done seen Chap go in that locker room and say, "Let me talk to them boys real quick, one-on-one."
Oh my God,
man! Yeah, man.
Can I get on the staff? Too?
Come on, you gotta find your job. We gotta find you what you're gonna do. You might be able to control the guys that don't play, the guys that's not playing. You gotta make sure they don't cause no animosity, because everybody can't play. You know?
I know you guys already have a social media person, so I can't take that job.
No, I got that. That's me. I'll take that.
But man, much respect to you. We're definitely gonna get you and the rest of the coaches on the coach staff, man.
All right, man.
Thanks for coming through.
All right, appreciate it.
Yes, sir.